Ladies and gentlemen and friends beyond the binary, welcome to Mediocre Poker. I'm Amanda Bonanza. With me in the background is Rayna Sunshine. I've got a hand here. We're in it. We're in it. This is a hand in the small blind is good enough to play. We got double suited pair of nines with a 7 and a king. We're going to play it. We're going to play it. We already have a loose passive player. We hit. So here's a tricky one because we did hit our set, and it's the top set. We also have a straight flush draw. We're out of position. I'm going to check this, but I'm going to check raise it. Now the thing is the straights there, and that was a fast thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to 2/3 pot that.
Why 2/3 pot?
Because that's a big one, and they're just going to go all in. So
Okay.
And they don't have anything. I guess. I don't know. Did they have something? Did they have a straight or something? Or were they bluffing? Did they just have a bad straight draw? I couldn't even tell. It happened so fast.
Yes, it was super fast.
All right. Well, that's a great start. We just knocked the person out on the first hand. This is not good enough. I'm gonna let it go.
Hand. Yes.
What's that?
That seems like a problematic hand. Not good.
Yeah, it's not great. It looks better than it
looks
is.
good at first, but then, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to label this limper. Loose passive there. And we're going to see we got a new player up there. Seat 1, I haven't seen limp yet, and I haven't seen seat 3 limp yet. So we might have a couple good players there. Seat 1's got the biggest stack. Seat 3 is up, so we might have a couple regs at our table. That's a foldable hand. I'm going to take a peek at that other hand just to see what it was. What did they have? Did they have something? They had a straight draw, but they didn't have hearts, and it's not a good straight draw. It was a one-liner. No, they had a two-way. They had a 10 or a 5 would have given them a straight, and their 5 came, so they would have had it, but we did catch our heart, so it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, we had the better hand, and the better hand prevailed. So they weren't too crazy, and they were like short stacked, and they just went for it. I don't think it was the best thing they could have done. We're the big blind here. We have a raise from a fish, so already I'm not too excited about that. I know ace king suited looks good, but the 6 and the 9 aren't good. And we're going to go multi-way. We're out of position, and this is a limper that brought in. And when a limper brings in an early position, they're not thinking about positions, but they do like their hand, and I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to let these two. Now, we would have had top pair here. And so let's see. Right. And they checked right away. So maybe we would have been okay, but like now they're betting. So like, okay, I think they have something. I don't know what they have. They like their hand though, so they really quickly bet pot. They check back, which is a fine thing to do out of position. That doesn't really tell us too much. See, 2 is calling, and I think they were calling on a spade draw probably. So they are afraid of the spades, and I think seat 2 probably hit their flush, is what I think. Oh no, they had the nut flush. They bet with that, and then they did have aces and queens, and they checked back when okay. It's a good hand. They played that hand well. I agree. So seat 2 called. They had 2 pair. They had 8s and 3s, so it's got a little bit of a loose call, but that's okay. That's okay. It wasn't egregious. I didn't see anything warranting a mark. Even on the button, that's not great. That's a great high-low hand. It's a very good high-low hand, but it's not a good multi-way Omaha hand. We do see a limp from them now, so we can give them the loose passive fish. So we've got 3 loose passive players. So we know that 3 of these players, we can believe their bet. If they bet big, they have a strong hand. If they bet small, they have a marginal hand. If they check, they don't have a hand. And every now and then they will check bluff, like with a big hand, like with aces or something. They'll trap with, but they'll do it in the wrong places. So we'll get caught in a trap here and there from one of these 3 players here, from one of these wrecks. But for the most part, we can just assume what their hand is based on their bet size. It's safe to do that, I think. Rayna, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's safe.
Yeah. I don't think we should play ace 4-3-3. So they've been folding a lot. So seat 3 is playing reasonable ranges, it would seem like. And they're bringing in correctly. Let's keep our eye on seat 3 here. Let's just watch them. Seem to be reasonable. Seem to play reasonably. We'll watch them for a minute. Try and keep our eye on them, see what they do. They folded too. Yeah. I think seat 3 probably seems pretty solid. They seem pretty reasonably studied and reg-ish, so we're not looking to go head-to-head with them all that often. So the 3 diamonds isn't great, but this is still a good hand. We've got 2 to Broadway, 3 to the wheel, and we've got a suited ace. Even though it's an impure suit, it's still good. It's not great out of position, especially if we don't want seat 1 to call, and they didn't, so that's good. We're okay with seat 6 calling. We don't love it, but we kind of expected them to. So that's a really good flop for us. The spades aren't good, but the ace 2 gives us the wheel draw. We have the top ace, and we've got a good kicker. So I think I can go ahead and continue this. I'm going to do 2/3 pot. We'll see if anyone calls. They'll probably chase. I think they're going to chase flush draws either way. We now don't have anything. So the 3-2s came, and they could technically have a 2. We are going to check this. And if they bet big, we have to get out of the way because they either have a pocket pair or they have a 2, and they didn't. So we have ace queen in our hand, which very well could win, but it's not good enough to put money in the pot over because, so we'll see. And we are going to win with our ace queen. So that's good. So when you have a hand like that has showdown potential, but it's not great, marginal made hand essentially. Yeah, I don't like that. No, that's rainbow. I know it sucks. I know might seem nitty to fold kings here, but there's
Yeah.
no suit, and that dangling 4 sucks, and we're in first position, and we've got a calling station behind us. So they're gonna play no matter what. They're gonna play. It looks like seat 6 is gonna play any 4 cards. They're just gonna play every hand. They're gonna limp and they're gonna call. They're never gonna raise pre-flop unless they have a monster. Now this hand I like. This is much better. The ace is dry and that sucks, but we've got a strong suit with our king, and we have 3 to Broadway, 2 to the wheel. So we're going to raise this up. We're going to 3-bet this because we're out of position. And this is a good enough hand to 3-bet because we've got the ace and the king blocker. So we're going to raise that up. We don't want to go multi-way. Hopefully they fold. That's good. Hopefully that'll scare seat 1 off. They shouldn't have aces because we blocked their ace. They shouldn't have kings because we blocked their king. But they could still. It's possible. They're gonna re-raise. So they're gonna 4-bet us. They're gonna go all in. So that's a 3-bet fold. I am gonna fold. I believe seat 1 has aces. I believe they have a better hand than us. We are gonna fold. And they do have aces, double suited aces.
Wow.
And they would have beat us. We would have lost. What did seat 4 call with? That seemed pretty fishy what seat 4 did, didn't it? Even though they won. It seemed like they won with a bad hand. Seat 4 had King Jack 10-8, so a rundown suited to the king. It's the worst. It's the worst. I don't know if it's. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it. They did win, and that is the kind of hand that does crack aces. So they played fine. No, thank you. So nothing bad to say about that play. I don't think they did anything wrong, and they took down the pot. Seat 1 played correctly. So seat 1 seems pretty straightforward. Yeah. A lot of players, they don't have a 3-bet fold button. That's what that's called. It's figure of speech, but like if most people, if they 3-bet, they're gonna go all in. And so that's a thing that if we do have aces, a really really strong hand, then we can just keep going with it. It's very infrequent where someone 3-bets and then they fold to a 4-bet. It's just almost never happens. I think it's an important thing to have, and I think based on what we just saw, my instinct was correct. What are your thoughts, Rayna?
I need you to explain what you just said again, because I didn't.
Okay,
I had a
so do you
difficult
know what a
time.
3-bet is?
3-bet. There's 3 other players that are betting.
Incorrect. So a 3-bet. So this is this is good. See, this is when I say stuff like this and you don't understand it, I would love it if you hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
That's
even
great.
worse, I didn't realize I didn't understand what 3-bet meant.
Okay. No, this is good. So a 3-bet. It's a holdover term from a game called Limit, and I'll explain what it is. So the first bet is the big blind. That's the first bet, and that's the first bet that's made. And so if anyone brings in, if you call that bet, you're not raising it. It's not another bet. But if you raise and you bring in the pot, which is what we do whenever we come into a hand, like that's a 2-bet. And if someone raises that, that's a 3-bet. And if that get raised, that's a 4-bet. And if that get raised, that's a 5-bet. And that's how that works. So a 3-bet is like the big blind was there, someone raised to bring into the pot, and then you raised that raise. That's a 3-bet. And so what that happens when you see 3-bets, you can whittle people's ranges down to the better cards. People don't 3-bet. Some people call 3-bets pretty loosely, but players that at this caliber that I've seen do not 3-bet loosely. They've 3-bet very tightly. So more often than not, a 3-bet is a pair of aces in their hands.
Okay. So the big blind's right after the button, and then if they have to make a bet, and then if they
So the
could,
big
but they could
blind is
raise
2
a button.
seats after the button.
It's
Here's
two.
the
Oh,
button,
so it
right?
is small blind and then big blind.
Small blind and then big blind, because that's the bet you have to match. If you wanted to call, you would have to bet. You would have to put in one big blind. That's what that is, and that's whatever value is, however much money you're playing for is what it is. Whatever stakes you're at, it's always one big blind. I'm gonna fold that. So that person called, so that's not a 2-bet, right? That's not a raise, so that doesn't count. They just limp. That's a limp. When you just call the big blind, that's called a limp. You limp in the pot, just like this person did. And so they checked because they don't have a great hand, because they're the big blind and they have whatever they have. And so it's looking like no one has much. No one's too interested in this pot. Now, it would have behooved seat 6 to have bet this whole time. There was a paired board. They're in last position. They're in position. They should have bet the flop and the turn. And they didn't bet either. And now they're just playing straightforward poker. They're never gonna bluff. Seat 6 is never gonna bluff. And if they do, it's gonna be really weird and bad. So seat 6, we just believe their bet. If they bet big, they've got a good hand. If they bet small, they have a marginal hand, and we can probably bet them off of it. So there we go. Seat 1 is good. They brought in. We're going to call with this hand. Oh no, that's a 3-bet. We can't call. We have to fold. We can't. That's not a good enough hand to call a 3-bet with. We would have called the 2-bet, and see, we would have had a bad hand here. Our queens would have been pretty much destroyed. They've got either aces or a king. Seat 1's got something. Could easily have a king. Could have king, king. I think seat 3's got aces. But there's no way to know. That's surely not a good hand, so we'll let that one go. And we'll just watch what everyone else does. So it looks like seat 3 and seat 1 are pretty solid. Like they're playing reasonable poker here. They're not fish. So what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to mark them as regs. Solid reg. And I'm going to give them the shark fin for they're pretty good. Lets me know. So what that tells me is I can accurately put them on ranges. It's really hard to put loose passive players on ranges because they just play any 4 cards. So you can't really judge what their range is, but the good thing is they tell you what they have based on how they bet. So this is double suited queens, definitely bringing that in on the button. Of course, they're going to call. They're going to fold smartly. They're going to call, and we do have the top pair blocker, but that's really bad for our range, and that's really good for calling ranges. So they both checked pretty quickly, but that doesn't mean they don't have something, and we don't have much. So I don't want to bet into this. I'm just going to check it down. So now our hands just keep getting worse. These are really, see, one of them's got a straight because they could easily have low cards in their hands because that's what callers have. I don't have low cards. I just have a 6. I've got no equity in this hand. There's no chance I'm winning this. That's 2 pair at least. I have a pair, maybe. But I don't have any equity. I don't have any draws. I'm going to let it go. Did that make sense, what I said, Rayna? Did all of that track? Did you follow?
Kind of. I mean, I was trying to still think about, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but I am having difficulty understanding the multiple bets. I'm trying to visualize, okay, so the first bet small blind makes they have to make one big.
Like I said, it's kind of a confusing system, and the reason is like I said, it's a holdover from an old game that's not really played a lot more called Limit. Like it's Limit Texas Hold'em, where you can only bet, like there's the big blind is the max amount you can bet. That's all you can raise. It's a limit game. They play it a lot in Washington State. It's the only place where they play it. But like it used to be a game that people played a lot, but it's not played at all anymore anywhere really. And No Limit is the game that everyone plays, and of course casinos like it better because more money goes in the pot, and so they get bigger pots and
But
stuff, so they get more rake.
the small blind, if can they raise? Like, are they?
Anyone can, yes. So can the big blind. So if we'll wait for the next hand, and if I have garbage, I'll just if I have even something. Well, I'm the big blind, but I have garbage. So they called. So that's not anything. They're gonna either raise or fold. They're not gonna limp. They're gonna fold. Seat 2's gonna limp. If they raise, they've got a good hand, and we're gonna fold to any raise. And they raise, so they've got a good hand. So that's a 2-bet. Or an RFI, raise first in. And see, now I get the chance to respond. Now, if they had just limped, I would then have the option to raise, to bet, because I didn't get that.
Bet. The first bet is
the first bet is the big blind, which I was.
Okay, so there's always the one bet.
That's the one bet. That's because otherwise no one would play anything but
Right. It would just
premium hands.
right.
Like
Yeah.
you're fighting over the blinds. That's how poker starts. Like it's money in the
Gotta get
pot.
money in the pot to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta be playing for something. Otherwise, why would you play anything but your best hands? You would
Yes,
just
that
fold,
makes
fold,
sense.
fold, fold, fold forever. So now we have not good. That's not a good hand, especially on the small blind. So we're gonna let that go. So see, they brought in. So that's RFI. They raise first in early position. We got to fold a fold. I'm gonna fold. Seat 6 is certainly gonna call. They snap called. They had hit the check call button. So and then they checked right away. So we would have had a pair of aces with a bad kicker. So 10's not a great kicker. They check, so they don't have an ace. They should have bet that. Their range, the ace queen is a hand you bet whether you have an ace or a queen or not when you're in position, and you brought in. That's called a range bet, because those are cards that are very good for your range when you bet. So it makes sense. We're not going to fold this either. And we got someone, this is a new player, it looks like, and they brought in early, but they probably came from another table. That's why they have such a weird amount. All right, and this player left, which is okay. That's fine with us. Yeah. I think seat 6 has played every hand. Like, have you seen seat 6 fold pre-flop yet?
No.
No. You know what they are?
What does that mean?
They are a VIP.
Oh, VIP. Love you.
Very special kind of player. That's the kind we like. We wish we were here. We want to be exactly to the left of seat 6, and we are not. We're to their right, and that sucks, but we're still. It's still fine. They're gonna call everything. They're gonna call a lot, and they're never. And if they raise, they've got it. That's it. So it's like, so the right way to play against seat 6 is to just bet at them. Kind of no matter what you have. And as soon as they push back, you get out of their way. I'm not going to go that aggressive. I've never had a lot of luck with pure, raw, unfettered, uncalculated aggression. I've seen it work for other people, but it hasn't worked for me. But they will fold on scare cards. They'll fold on they'll fold their junk, and they'll even fold. They'll never fold draws. But they'll never bet their draws. They'll always raise. They'll always call the draws. If they do bet, they have a made hand, and it's a good. And if they bet large, it's a very good hand, possibly the nuts. And if they raise, they've got the nuts.
Okay.
Every time. Do you know what the nuts is?
I thought that the nut is the best cards.
Yes, the nuts is the best hand you could possibly have. So on this board, currently the nuts is Jack 10 for a Broadway straight. That is still the nuts. So anyone with Jack 10 has the nuts. Nothing can beat Jack 10 right now.
It straights the 5 cards in any suit.
Yeah, Ace, King, Queen, Jack 10, straight to the ace. Yeah. That's Broadway. This is a very good hand. It's the big blind, so we'll be playing it. It's not so great that I want to raise it, but I'm definitely going to call even from a good player. And it is going to go multi-way, but this is a good hand to go multi-way because it has nuttiness with the suited king and the ace and the Broadway and the rundown. So it's not a premium hand, but it's a good hand. And we did miss it as hard as one could. So we'll just check it back. They should be c-betting here small is the right thing to do, about 5 or 6. And so they did half pot. That's also acceptable. We don't have any draws here, honestly, and they could have us. They could technically already have us dominated with a pair of queens. We have no reason to call this bet, so we're not going to. And that's the thing about the big blind is when you call, like you can call very wide, but then when the flop comes, you have to be extra narrow. You have to be extra tight. because you're out of position. So this is also a good hand. It's good enough to raise in the small blind. It's not good enough to 3-bet. So if this player bets, I'm going to call. Well, no, that's a 3-bet. So we've got a raise from a fish and a 3-bet, but it's a weak 3-bet. They didn't bet pot. So that's a little weird. We're going to keep our eye on them, but I'm not going to call. It's not quite good enough to call. The 8 is a little dangling, and yeah, we would have been dominated by that ace. We don't have our suit. We do have the jack. That's not super. Not a lot of equity in this hand. They should be betting again. Okay, they did. So they followed through on their 3-bet at least. They should bet again on principle. They should bet small. They should bet 10 big blinds. We'll see what they do. They check the flush. Oh, that tells us they don't have a flush. Unless they have the nut flush, in which case they're trying to induce a bluff from seat 2. And they did. But they might have the nut flush. And they say, yes, I do have that king high flush. And they folded. That's what that was.
Yep.
And they showed it. So I got it exactly right. Did that all make sense?
Yes.
Cool. All right, bring it in.
Got
On the
Charlotte
button
on
with a
the
suited
chat.
ace, pair of jacks. And we'll see what seat 4 does here. They're not going to do anything. We're going to do the small bet. We're going to do about a third. We'll just do 5. 5 big blinds. See if we don't get a call there. And we just take it down. I always bet in position. I always bet paired boards because people are afraid of them. And so in position, no matter what I have, I'm betting a paired board. And I will do that if I will c-bet a pair. So do you know what a c-bet is, Rayna? Do you remember what that is?
It's a continuation bet, but I
That's
don't know
true.
what it actually means.
Okay, what it means is if I was the aggressor pre-flop, like if I brought in, like there's the big blind and then I raised the big blind and everyone called me, that means I was the pre-flop aggressor. This is a bad hand for us, but we do have the top pair, so we are going to continue with, no, we're going to check it. We're going to check it, but we're going to check call. Because we do have a straight draw. We don't have any flush equity. We have overcards. We have top pair. I do have the blocker to the straight. They could have 2 pair. I don't think they do. I am going to raise it here. No, I'm going to call. I'm going to call and see what happens. Okay. I'm going to check it. I'm going to check call. Oh, no. They really snap called. They did that real fast. They bet that real fast, and it's a big bet. And it's a big bet from someone who is fishy, so I'm going to let them go. They probably have a 6. I'm going to believe their bet and get out of their way. I wonder if they would have folded if we'd raised them pre-flop. We'll have to try that next time.
No,
we'll have to try a check raise on
it's
them.
not a good hand, is it? Yeah, like my gut said, it's not a good hand. I mean,
it's
at
not
first
a good hand.
You think, oh, king queen, but it doesn't matter. And then 5 and 6.
Well, it's king queen's not even suited. Yeah. Suit to a queen is an especially strong. Like, I mean, that's a good flop for this bad hand, but it's top and bottom. You know, we got 2 pair. 2 pairs can win. New player on seat 4 here. We got a suited ace. This is a good hand. We'll be playing this. Got a low pair with a suited ace and a queen. So yeah, we'll bump that up. And we're gonna go heads up with our fishy friend, and we have our hearts came. We don't have anything, but we will check raise here. So if they bet, they bet pot, so they have at least a 10. So we'll call them. We're going to check and hope they bet. They don't. Now the board paired, so they could have a full house, so we'll check and call. And we just win. That was unfortunate with the pair. When the pair comes and you got a flush, you got to be careful, especially when you're out of position. And so we still won the pot. It's just we couldn't maximize value. But the reality is they probably would have folded if we bet anything at all. So I think we got our maximum value out of that. We do have double suit here in the small blind, a raise. It's not a great double suit, and it's out of position. I'm going to fold it. It's a small blind. I'm going to let it go. We would have had top pair here with a gut shot straight. Ace 2, 3, 10. Not a great hand. Nah, not to a raise. Not to a raise from a player that's playing good cards. Definitely. They have seat 3 has demonstrated reliable ranges, so if they bring in, they've got something worth bringing in. As far as I know, they could be playing GTO. They could be a pro. I haven't seen anything from them that wasn't like good poker yet. I haven't seen them do anything weird or fishy, or they seem like they're someone who knows what they're doing. And maybe they're a little over tight, possibly, but I haven't even seen that. So we do have to be careful about seat 3. We have to be aware.
Pair of jacks is not good.
No, pair of jacks isn't good. Pair of jacks with low cards, like it's this hand's way too disconnected, and jacks aren't a strong hand. You're never gonna win with. I wouldn't say never, but you're very rarely going to win with just a pair of jacks. Now, we would have had jacks and 4 with a flush draw, but are we going to feel real great with that flush draw? If we hit our flush, are we going to feel super confident about it? Answer, yes, we would. And the reason is because we would have also blocked. We have a blocker to it, but that means it's more likely not going to come. But now they've got that, so they could easily. One of them has eights, an 8. There's an 8. There's a 4. Yeah. That's good enough. The 4 sucks. Yeah, that's good enough. The 4 sucks. The 4 is the dangler. It's not great. We knew we were getting a call from seat 6. We knew we would get called from seat 2. And we hit our top set. So we're just going to go. We're just going to bet the pot because we don't want the straight to come. We don't want this hand to get compromised, and we're happy to just take it down. And we're also happy if someone calls. So pot size bet for sets. That's how I play sets. I play sets. Pretty much that's my move. I just pot size bet. I like when I get a really strong hand, I think I'm probably going to do pot size bets too. Now, this is a hand that actually is halfway decent. It's not great.
Well,
it's good enough
jacks,
to.
but
Yeah. So we have nothing great.
Okay.
Nothing great here.
It's only marginally better than the hand with jacks that you folded.
I mean, here's the thing: is neither of them bet much. They bet a third pot, so one of them could have an ace, but it's more likely they probably don't have a 6. I don't want to call this. I don't want to go multi-way out of position with. Yeah, marginal pair. Yeah, not against fishy betting. Yeah, they don't have much. I think C6 has a pocket pair or something. Queens or something. Maybe they were bluffing. I don't know. They should gave up at the end. 2's a good hand. We'll play that for sure.
No, that's great.
Yeah, now the question is do we 3-bet it? I
Wait,
think
I'm
we do.
confused about something. Pair of tens is better. Oh, but it's because it's got the
It's because
ace.
I've got a suited ace and the
Suited
5
ace.
connects to the ace on the wheel. And that's
Oh,
great for me. That's just
is
fucking
the
great.
ace? Is the ace always just one? It's like numeric values
It's
one,
one or it's the top.
or it's
It's
the
the
top.
best card
Okay.
and it's the highest card and the lowest card.
So you could say it's quite versatile.
Yeah, we're just going to bet this. We have so much equity here.
Okay.
So we're just going to take that down. We have flush, straight, everything. The straight blockers. This hand is less good because the 3 is dangling because the king doesn't wrap around. The ace can go with the 3 and make the wheel, but the king cannot. So we've got a dangling 3 and we're in a worse position, but we do have a suited king and we do have a pair. And so I am going to bet it because we're in late position and this player is just going to call no matter what. So I'm okay playing and heads up. And now we did this. So this is one of those things where I think I'm going to donk bet here. And I'm going to see what they do. I think I can just bet this and they're going to fold. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. So when I said I'm going to donk this, do you know what that meant?
Yeah, donk means something I know you've explained it probably 3 or 4 times by at this point.
It's okay. I'm happy to explain it again.
So
Yeah, I was just checking the chat, see what Charlotte was saying. Hi, Charlotte, by the way. Hello, love you. So glad. Take care of my Emily. I know you will. Um, what was I saying? Oh, so a donk bet is when you were not the pre-flop aggressor, when you called and you're out of position and the flop comes and you bet the flop. So you weren't the pre-flop aggressor and it's called a donk bet because it's short for donkey, as in it's a bad move, but it's not a bad move. It's a strategic. Everything's strategic. There's a reason that I did that, and because I knew they would fold, like unless they had a flush, like but the chances of them having a flush are like less than 1 in 4. So why not, right? Like yeah. All right. So yeah, that's a good enough hand. The 4 hearts isn't great, but it's a high. These are all real good real strong cards. And the
I mean, that like she could get a straight flush out of that, right?
well, no, I can't get a straight flush because I'm blocking my own
Oh yeah,
straight
duh.
flush.
Yeah, but you don't
But
get all straight
now I
flush.
have a
You keep
pair of
getting
nines, which is
cards.
marginal, even though I'm not going to bluff out of position multi-way here at all. But I think I can call if they bet, and they're going to bet big. That means they've got a king. I want to call, but I know I should fold. I'm gonna fold. I know they have a king. And that just means I'm behind and I'd be playing catch up, hoping for to pair my hand, as that's the only way. I wasn't gonna get a straight. Well, I did have straight draws. I could have chased that or maybe even raised it. But like, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it multi-way out of position. I don't mind playing fit or fold out of position. Do you know what fit or fold means?
Bitter fold?
Yeah.
No, I
Fit
don't. I actually don't
or
recall you
fold.
saying
That's another term. I know. I realize that I don't think I've ever used that term before, but fit or fold means either you've got a hand and you play it or you fold it. You just fold if you don't have a hand.
Oh, I do
Like
that
you're
all
not
the time.
bluffing, you're not doing anything crazy, you're playing your hand and that's what you're doing. That's fit or fold. And that's about what you can do out of position, really.
Mhm.
I mean, especially with players that like telegraph their hand strength like that player does. Or that we're assuming that that player does. So we don't have a beat on 1 or 4 here. 4 sitting out. I haven't really seen anything from seat 1. Seat 3 should have been C betting, and they haven't been. So I might take away. I'll say there's a C bet, but it's weak. But it's okay because it's a paired board. So they did it. It's a delayed C bet. They probably did have an ace, though. I might have to downgrade them from a shark to a nit. I think they might be over tight, but we'll see. Let's just keep our eye on them a little bit. This is, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring in. It's an ace and a king. It's a pair, and I've got Broadway, I've got wheel, and I've got a strong suit and a small pair. So, and I do hit my top set there. However, I do block the low end of the straight, but 3-6 could exist, and this player could have it. So I am going to go ahead and bet half pot here and just see if that scares them off. They call. So they could be drawing. They didn't raise. And they did it fast. So I'm just going to check back because we do have a set. And they checked it back, so they don't have anything. So I'm going to pot it. And they're going to fold. Called with a pair, and they caught their pair. They caught their set on the river. That's okay. That's okay. That's not a bad play that I did. So they snap called with a pair of eights. So they're gonna call with everything. This is a VIP. They are a station. They're gonna call with anything. Any draw, any pair. They're gonna call. They shouldn't have called with that pair of eights. That was silly. All right. We shouldn't have led. We should have checked our set and see what they did. That was a mistake that I made on that hand. Because then we could have bet pot on the turn before they had their set. And they probably would have folded. Anyway, live and learn. Yeah, it's good enough. This is a real good high-low hand. It's not as good an Omaha hand, but we'll see. I'm bummed that we lost to that player. But they caught a better set, so that's number one. I don't feel too bad about it. Cool. We have top pair. We got a flush draw. We're gonna check it because we do have the Broadway blocker, but we don't block the low straight. They snap checked. We're gonna bet pot. Yeah. Yeah, this player is so face up. It's awesome. You're very much a VIP. I love it. I really wish we were there. I really wish we were to this player's left. That's the Jesus seat. That's what that's called. Oh, nothing to be done about it. I can't change seats in this game. Like if we were playing at my other game at my other in coin poker, you can change seats, and I would absolutely change seats to get right there. I'm gonna call this. I'm not gonna raise it. That's a fish that brought in, so we're gonna fold. They're gonna bet. They have something there. Oh, this person says they've got something. Two pair, not a straight. Two pair. They have two pair. Jacks and tens. This person calls, they've got a draw. They've got a straight draw or a flush draw. I don't have any draw. I have an ace high. I have the wrong suit. I'm getting out of the way. This person hit their straight. Seat 2 hit their straight. Seat 6 still has 2 pair. I think. Maybe seat 2 has 2 pair. They're going to check back. Or they're going to bet. Straight. I like being exactly right. It feels good.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice if you can get it. Great work if you can get it.
Do you understand how I got to that conclusion?
No, can you explain it to me?
Yeah, it's a long process, but I will. So I'm gonna do hand rating here. So they raised. So we mark these players as loose passive. That means what we talked about, like they are only gonna bet when they have hands. And when you've got the nuts straight, when you've got the absolute unabridged nuts with no real draws to take away your nuts, then they will slow it down and they'll bet smaller to keep people in the pot. That's the only reason they did that. And so they'll bet, like I said, they'll bet their hands, they'll bet made hands, but the bet size determines the strength of their hand. So this person who came in and they bet half pot. That told me that they didn't have the nuts, but they had a hand. So because if they had the straight, they would have bet more. They would have bet full. They would have bet pot.
Right.
Because that's how this player thinks. That's my guess how they think, but that's how they're demonstrating what they're thinking. And so when this player called, I was like, well, they kind of thought about it for a minute, and I was like, they probably have a draw, which they did. And they had a good draw, and they were right to do it. We're going to let that go. So now this player limped in. This player limped, and this player checked back their big blind, so neither of them have anything. Whoever bets is going to have caught a card, one of their random 4 cards that they have. Neither of them are going to bet. Well, maybe this person does because they caught a queen, or they have a flush. Looks better than it is. We got a raise in front of us. I'm just gonna let it. No, I'm gonna bet it. Are they gonna cold call? Yeah, they're gonna cold call my 3-bet. Of course, they're gonna play every hand. Every hand. Any 4 cards. Any 4 cards here. This person should fold, but now that they called, they are incentivized to call. And if they have a halfway decent hand, they're going to call. I hate being to the right of this player. I want to be to their left so bad. So that's good for us. So we'll see about that. Yep. Yep. No shocker. Call, fold, call, fold, call any 4 cards. Fold bad cards. I hope that when their money runs out, they buy back in, or I hope they get a fluke hand and takes their money or their money.
Get a what can?
A fluke hand. I don't want this player to leave when they bust out. I want them in this hand. I want them in this game as long as possible. They're money printers. They're a whale. Didn't bet their flush. They brought in. They didn't bet their flush. Oh no, I was the one that brought. That's right. That was last hand that they brought in. I guess they were out of position, but I don't know. When everyone checks around, like, might as well bet. Get some money in the pot. I don't really understand that thinking, but it's because I'm kind of far removed. This hand sucks shit. I'm not even going to call it. Not when a fish raises. Even with that top pair, I still wouldn't have felt great about it. Especially with them betting. Yep, they've got a queen, at least. Queen plus. Yep. Decent hand. They should have raised it, but they didn't. Because they don't raise. I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking, seat 6. Yeah. Got a suited ace. High cards. Silly, yeah. It's not good enough to call a 3-bet, that's for sure, from a good player. From a tight player? Yeah, no way. Get the fuck out. Ah, they're afraid. They don't have spades, but they have aces. Oh, they're gonna bet it anyway. They've got their aces. Okay, good job. They're right to do it. This player's good. C3's good. They know what they're doing. They're betting right. They're playing like a player who knows what they're knows what they're doing. So we have no reason to tangle with seat 3. If they bet and we don't have a monster, we're just gonna get right out of their way. We're just gonna respect them, and they're gonna respect us too. That's how this works. A player that's playing like this player plays sees that we are also playing well, and they're going to stay out of our way just as we're going to stay out of their way, and we're going to take turns. They also recognize that this player is a VIP, and they are going to take and we are going to take turns trying to get this player's money, is how that's going to work. They've got a much better seat than we do because they're behind the 2 loose players and I'm in front of them. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's good enough. They'll call, as they do every time. Probably they'll call. And we hit top pair. We don't have a straight, so we don't have spades, so we're gonna check it. We'll check call most likely. No, not to that. Now here's the problem is we don't have spades. That's the biggest problem here. I would call top pair, but either one of them could easily have a straight. And we do have a straight draw, but it's unlikely. We need a No, we have a bad straight draw. We don't have anything here. I have to fold that. Yeah, we would need runner straight. I thought we had a straight. We didn't even have that. So easy fold. Easy fold. All right. We're coming up on the hour. I'm gonna sit out this next big blind and I'm gonna take our little mid-roll break. I'll remind everyone that is watching that if you use the link in the description box, you can get a free account at PLO Mastermind, which is a great PLO training site that has fantastic options for pre-flop training and just they have great solvers. It's just a really good rock solid site if you want to learn this great game, understand it a little better, and know what's going on. That's a great site to. Well, yeah, I'm gonna bring this in. This is a double suited rundown, so we're gonna take it. It's not quite. It's a loose rundown, but we're still gonna do it. We're in position enough. Oh, we got 3-bet. Shit. That's aces. That's aces right there. And here's the thing, is if I call this, seat 6 is going to call too. And if I hit, I'm good. So I can call this one time, and if I get a good flop, I can go crazy and take a bunch of money. So I think I'm going to call it one time and risk hitting my 2 pair. I'm good because they've got aces and they're going to keep betting them. I'm going to bet pot.
Oof, boy.
That's okay. They don't know what to do. They've got aces. All right. They
Oh,
didn't know what to do. They folded. No, that's great.
yeah,
That's
that's
great.
fun. Fantastic.
Looks better than it is. I would play this hand on the button, but I'm not playing it in under the gun. So I'm gonna let that go, and I'm gonna take my mid-roll break, and we will see you in about 5 minutes, y'all.
All
So
right.
I'll see you soon, Raina.
See you on the other side.
All right, see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Here we are. I got here just in time to miss that big blind, so we're gonna have to sit out a hand here. It looks like, or we're gonna bring in. So this person limped, I think, or did they just get here? They might be new. I'm not gonna judge them just yet, even though they did buy in for the small amount. They brought in their raising, so let's get out of the way with our bad hand. Watch everyone. This player's going to call because they've played literally 100%. Their VPIP is 100. That's insane. They have not folded a single hand pre-flop. That's just awesome. That's just great. And so this player is going to keep going, and they're going to call. They like it. They've got at least a 10. This person's going to, they're thinking about it. Yeah, they have the queen. They have their 10, so they're going to keep betting, and they're going to win. Their 10 hit. That's what I think. I cannot prove that. It's a guess, but I feel like I've been pretty spot on with my card reading today, so. Rayna, wasn't I gonna explain something why I came to the conclusion of what they had in their hands?
Yes.
Okay, so it is, like I said, it's a long, kind of long-winded. It's not a simple calculation, but it's based on how people bet. And so when they bet large, they have the players that are loose passive. Like, so these two players here, they're loose passive. We've marked them as such because they limp, they telegraph their hand strength. So we're going to let this go. So they limped, so they don't have a strong hand, right? So if they limp, and then they catch their cards, they're going to bet because they just want to see flops and they just want to call and they just want to play every hand they have. And so they didn't bet their 10. They're in position, so they don't have anything. So they're not going to bet. Even though they should be betting when the board paired and they were in position, they didn't do it because they don't know that that's what they're supposed to do. This person caught a 6 or a straight. Or maybe even had a 10. I doubt they had a 10, though. They would have bet the 10 on the turn. We are in the big blind now, and we got a call here. And so we got another limp there. I think we got a limp here. This person limped. All right, we're definitely downgrading them to a tight player, but like we got a min click here. I don't love our hand, honestly. I don't want to go multi-way with this, and I don't want to raise it, so I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go to that one big blind. We don't have any nuttiness. We block our own draws. We would have we would have top 2. I'd have felt okay with this at this point, but like, I don't know. I don't feel great. I still wouldn't be super confident multi-way. Anyway. Solid but tight. So we've downgraded them to a net, as in tight passive. So we don't think they're going to bluff. We're going to also believe their bet. They're just not playing a lot of hands.
But what's the difference between a fish and a nit?
So I'm going to stop using the word fish because it's a presumptive. Loose passive. So a loose passive player is just they're gonna be like this player where they're just calling every hand. They're gonna play. They're gambling. They're not poker. They're not playing poker. They're playing slots. Like they want to hit a hand. They want to get a big hand. They're never gonna get rid of a strong hand, no matter what the board is. Like that's the kind of player that there is. They're gamblers. They're not poker. They're not thinking strategically. They're playing to gamble. Like that's what they're doing. And so I am gonna raise this up because even though we're in the small blind, we've got a limper here. We knew they were going to call no matter what. We can give them the old LP for that. We did miss. Our pair of twos isn't going to do us any good here. That's really good for both of their ranges. Their limp calling ranges are real good for low cards. Real bad for us. So one of the two of them has caught something. And if not, we'll win with our pair of twos. But there it is. There's your straight. I'm out. Icky. So now we're going to watch. This is a limper, so they might limp. They're going to leave. They folded. I folded. They're going to call. They're just going to limp. I think I've seen them raise like twice. They're going to call. They're going to limp and then they're going to call. They're just wonderful player. Just a wonderful player. I really wish I was there. I wish I was there. I'd have so much more money. New player here, bought in for the men. Notable. Oh, and this player's new too. Look at that. Okay. They raised. They raised, Rayna. See that? They've got a monster. It's not a queen. Aces are kings. They're afraid of those queens because someone might have one. And then their aces and kings don't win anymore. Ugh. They brought in. They call, of course. What do? You're incentivized to call. You're in position. Bad call. Someone here has spades, even though I blocked the spades. There's too many players for someone not to have two spades in their hand. Someone here's got them. Is it them? Maybe. Probably. Probably marginal spades, like to the queen. That'd be my guess. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they have the ace. Maybe they didn't have spades at all. No way to know for sure. Not good enough to bring in on early position, so we're going to let it go. Just watching seat 6 just call and call and call and call and call is just it's fascinating to me. How in this day and age someone could play poker like that. I love it. I'm so jealous of seat 1 with all the information out there. It's wild.
It really is.
The YouTube videos dedicated to poker, all the charts, all the training sites that are free. There's so much poker information, and this person's just, I'm just going to play every hand. Oh, God damn it. That 3 sucks. It's multi. I don't know. I'm going to let it go. It hurt, but I had to. It's not a good enough hand. That dangling 3 is terrible. Multi-way out of position sucks. God damn it. It's like, should I call? Now I have a straight with a straight flush draw. The nut straight? Yeah, I got the nut straight too. No one would have given me any money. I would have bet they would have folded. C2 might have called. They had a pair of kings. So I bet small. Check. Unsurprising. Check here. Check here. No one likes their king. No one has kings. C4 says, I've got a king, or I like my hand, or I'm in position. Seat 6 says, I've got spades or a 5. They have spades. Seat 6 has 2 spades in their hand. Probably high spades. They're going to call their spade draw. No, they're not. They're not. They're not going to call their spade draw. Maybe they had jacks. I think they had spades. They got scared by that 5. Got scared of a paired board and a bet.
Now
They had
this
spades.
is this good enough to play?
This is a good enough hand to play. We're on the button. We've got a pair of 9s, which is the lowest pair you want to kind of play if it works. And we've got a suited ace. So yes. And it's a limp around. So we're gonna go multi-way, but we're gonna be in position and we have lots of nuttiness. So that's not great for our range, but it is a paired board and we're in position. So we're gonna go ahead and bet 2/3 pot here. Because we just want to get everyone out. So if one of them is slow playing a 5, that sucks. All right, now we are definitely going to check it because they very well might have a 5. We have 9s and 6s. If they bet, we have to fold. And they're gonna check it. They're afraid of the 6. Jeez Louise! They didn't bet it. They had 5. They had a 5 for sure. I shouldn't have bet large. I should have bet small. That was the right move, and I fucked up. It's 2 mistakes I've made so far that I noticed. And I don't like either of them. Because I don't like this. I don't like this total. I don't like our stagnant chip stack. I want to have more. I know there's a way that I could play better with more calculated aggression. I need to study more. I should. Oh, our VIP left. What a bummer. What a bummer. Well, we've got one of these fellows right here, so we can do that. That's not a good enough hand to play. Ah, c'est la vie, c'est la vie. Our friend left, Rayna.
Sad.
Our good friend. And that's not good enough to do anything with. That's a bad hand. C6 brings in. C2 calls. We hit top pair with a backdoor flush draw. And a gut shot straight draw. Now we have trips. Now we have a full house. Probably good.
So should we have played this hand?
Oh, I mean, you can always flop a full house. You can flop quads with any 4 cards. Like, doesn't mean you should play any 4 cards. Like, I mean, you could flop 4 of a kind literally with any 4 cards in your hand.
Yeah, it's
like,
the pure gambler approach versus.
Yeah, it's terrible. That was a bad hand. We shouldn't have played it in there. I don't regret not playing it at all. Sometimes that's going to happen. But we have a great hand here, so we're definitely going to raise that right up. We're going to 3-bet that. We're going to get a call from seat 6. Let's see if seat 2 can fold their call. Nope, they can't. And we hit our top. We hit our aces. So there's a lot of draws that can beat us. So I am going to bet not Yeah, I'm gonna bet pot. I want them to call their draws. We're probably not gonna get called. Oh, we
Oh
are.
shit.
I love that. Let's
Well, this is a new player, so we don't really.
let's go all in, see if they call. They're gonna call their draw. Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing business with us.
Thank you. Thank you. That's why you bet pot. With the top.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
They left. You destroyed them.
Well, I mean, they destroyed themselves. That was terrible. What did they have? They had a draw. They're betting pots. Like, I mean, that was terrible. They called and then called a 3-bet and then called a pot size bet after that when I basically announced that I had aces. I was like, I've got aces. I've got 3 aces. And they're like, yep, I'm going to put my money in that pot. I mean, I couldn't have been, I played open face there because what else are you going to do? And I did hit a straight, but once again, you can't play hands like this. And it's not the nut straight and it's dangerous. Especially now, because now so many other straights came with that. Even though I blocked them. But now even more straights came. Yep. That's a better straight than mine. Well, that was delightful. There's a rundown. We'll play this
Hmm.
on the button. Yeah. Bring in. New player here, 6. We do have top pair, so we'll keep going with that. We don't have any equity though, but we'll bet it. Yeah, we'll do 2/3. Now we'll do a half pot since it's a straight, potential straight out there. So we'll just see. We got a fast call, so that could be a draw, that could be a made hand, that could be a straight. That's a straight. See ya. That's a straight, or it's a draw to the spades. Either way, I don't want to go multi-way with just a pair of 7s. No real outs. That was a feeler bet that I did, and it didn't feel good. All right. Cool. Well, that was nice of someone to come in and just give us their whole stack right away.
Thank you.
That was delightful. Yeah, they just doubled. They just gave us 100 big blinds. They came in, gave us 100 big blinds, and left.
Like they dropped these.
It's
These are for
just
you.
that was very nice of them. Patience, patience, patience. This is a game of patience. If you wait long enough, someone will do that for you. I was so nervous about these stakes when I first started playing them, and I was losing them because I assumed everyone played better than they do, but they're not playing any better at these stakes than they do at the lower stakes. It's just like they're just the same fishy bullshit.
So you're
So I'm
saying that like
happy.
the skill, like the what you're seeing is like there's literally no difference.
I'm seeing there's every now and then there's some serious players at these stakes, but there's still a lot of fish, and so I'm surprised. I would thought the overall caliber of play would go up, and I've been at tables where the play is better for sure, but like in general, it's mostly like what we're seeing.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
it's like I'm not seeing anything like hyper egregious at right now out of any of these players except for seat 4 who's playing very badly, but seat 1's just playing tight. Seems like everyone's just playing kind of tight poker, which is like kind of par for the course. We got a limp there. They brought in the tight player who hasn't played many hands, brought in. We're on the big blind. I am going to call because we've got good pot odds and we have some nuttiness with our suited king, but I'm going to be real cautious come the flop. We're going to go 4 ways. and we can't leave. We have straight draws and flush draws, so we're not going anywhere. This might even be a check raise. I think they're gonna see bet. Yeah, they are. I think they bet half pot, so I'm gonna check raise them. Say I'm pretending I have 3 jacks. You're gonna fold. Are you gonna call with all your chips? I don't have anything yet. That's a bluff. They have a pair of jacks. They have jacks and sixes. They win. They call light. That was very light call. It's a very, very light call. Do they have anything else? They did have a straight draw and a backdoor flush draw, so it's the worst call. That wasn't a very light call. I'll take that back. That was a reasonable call. It was a courageous call, is what it was. It was courageous, but it wasn't a bad call. And definitely, they did have me. They beat me. I still don't think my bluff was wrong. I think that was the correct bluff.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it again without even thinking about it. Yeah, we'll bring that in. Cool. They're both gonna call. Oh, suit four is not. Did we hit? Yeah, did we hit? We hit Broadway. Okay, we have the nut straight. We're gonna check it back. We can see one more. We still have the nut straight. Well, now we're gonna bet pot. They're gonna fold. Oh,
Mm.
shit. That's exactly what we didn't want to see. We have to check that back now. Yeah, they just had it too. That was a terrible. That was the single worst card we could have seen. Was the king of spades there? Brought the straight flush, brought the full house, brought the quads, brought every possible way our hand could be beat. When we went from having the nuts to having a very, very extremely marginal hand. So that's how that goes. They didn't bet on the turn though. They could have, and they should have. After I checked and they had it already,
Mm-hmm.
they should have bet. I don't know what they were doing. No, they're a fish. They're a loose passive player. It's a good hand. We're gonna play it. The person can go all in at any moment. There it is. We're gonna call. Oh no, we're not. They are though. They did that to get us out, and they succeeded. There it is. Aces. And full house. Oh, that was a bad hand to 3-bet. Boop.
Hmm.
Oh, they left. We'll be calling this one time. It's a rundown. We're not going to raise it. We'll see a flop for free. We'll take that. We'll bet it. We don't. I feel like I can bet this. I feel like I've got the equity here. I'm going to check it. I'm going to check raise. What am I going to do there? I'm not going to do nothing. They don't have a queen. I'm going to bet it. They have a draw, maybe. Maybe they have a 10 too. Might have a better 10. They might have a. Oh, there it is. See you. That wasn't what they were looking for. Yeah, it was just fine. They had a set of queens that they didn't bet. Cool. If that's a nit, that's a nit. Whenever the seat
The
3-bets, get the fuck out of the
fold,
way.
right?
Get the fuck out of
This
the
hand
way.
bad. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Even with a set of queens. Over tight. There we go. There's a good, strong, solid holding in good position. We'll bet that. Hopefully we get one call. Be great. Would love to get a raise here. Love to see a 3-bet here. We'll get a call. We will 2/3 that. That's a good range bet. We've got the nut flush blocker. They're going to call. They could easily have 2-pair, but we're going to keep going with it. We're just going to take down a nice pot. And that's not. It's okay. And now we're in position because seat 6 isn't the same calling station that was there. We're just going to take it down. So, okay, that's cool. That's something to make note of. That's also a good hand. We'll be playing that. We got a new player here. See, seat 6 and 1 are also pretty tight. So now I can just start kind of throwing my weight around. So this is not good enough, but like because seat 6 and 1 seem to also be over tight, I can just start kind of betting a lot. So we're gonna be basically betting large whenever we do bet, just kind of throwing our weight around. And as soon as we get pushback, we're just gonna get out of the way. But we can definitely throw our weight around here on this table. Well, we'll see what C4 does. Yep. Yep, we'll be playing this one. Yeah, we're gonna ramp up aggression for sure. Well, see, not when we get it though. So they have a hand. We're gonna call it. Oh, we're not calling it. Nope.
Hmm.
That's a monster, and we let it go. They have a bet fold button. Okay. This is a monster.
Great. Even on the small
So
blind.
yeah, so we're gonna put on some Hollywood for this, make them think like we're thinking about it. So they call us or they raise us again. They can think that we don't have aces by waiting that long. You're like, well, they waited a long time. Maybe they don't have aces. They shouldn't have a 2 in their hand, not betting and calling a 3-bet. So we're going to go ahead and c-bet that. We're going to do it small. Check it and raise. We'll check raise. Okay, we're gonna bet the pot. We want all their chips. I should have looked at their stack and just bet. I didn't see it. That was a failure on my part. That was a big failure. Always notice stack size. I'm bad at it. I don't think a stack size is enough.
Mm.
They were very fishy to call my aces. And here's why, is because they had such a short stack that they should have just went all in and
Mm.
had the at least have the equity advantage the aggression advantage and having the fold equity, and they just called when it was just that's really bad. So we're gonna give them one of these. 6 and 1 seem tight, right? That's what we said. We're gonna tight. Tight. I don't have any line on seat 2 at all. That's definitely a good hand. We'll play that for sure. Don't love the 3 diamonds, but it's better than no diamonds. It's better than no suit. It's better than a rainbow hand. Uh, do I three? No, I don't. And the reason
Mm.
is their stack. So, well, yeah. I don't mind going heads up with them with this hand. That's a good enough hand to play. Cool. That's what I thought might happen. Awesome. Yep. Yeah. And so we're gonna go. We'll be going heads up with them
Okay.
in post. They're gonna call. They have to. It's like 3 big blinds. They can't raise. What you're thinking about it like you might fold, like you didn't know that's what they were gonna do. They're like, what? Great. We flopped our full house, and we're gonna check it back because we pretty much can't lose at this point. So we're just gonna check that back, unless great, and now the straight and a flush draw came. That's wonderful for us. So we're gonna bet small because we want them to have the straight, and we want them to call their draws here. So we're gonna go 15, which is about a third pot. We want them to call. We want them to raise. Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, what terrible play that was. They should have called. Like, I don't understand it. What does it have? What did C2 have there? That was just fucking terrible. That is a rundown, but it's low cards, and low cards suck out of position. What did C2 have? I can't see. It doesn't say because they folded. Because they folded. That's why. It won't show me. I have no idea what they had.
No, that's a terrible hand.
It's pretty bad, but it's callable on the big blind,
Huh.
especially the tight players. Oh, not when a tight player bets, though. Here's the thing. If they bet and they don't hit, nah, you're right. It is a bad hand. It's also not a good hand, even though it's a suited ace. Not good enough to play the small blind. But it is against someone tight. So we'll go. They might fold. Oh, they're going to call it. That's okay. We like that. That's a check raise. All right, now we've got pot. They're gonna fold. They thinking of calling? They are thinking about it. No, thank you. Well, Rayna, how you doing there?
Good.
A little quiet.
Pondering.
Just pondering,
Uh,
thinking,
Yes.
trying to follow the game. Are you understanding? Do you feel like your understanding of the game is increasing?
I think it gradually, very, very gradually,
I would
perceptibly.
love it if you would ask more questions. And so, like, if you want to know something, like you were sometimes, I kind of had to coax it out of you.
Mm.
Do you have any questions? Like, you understand what's going on what these symbols mean? Like, what the stack sizes represents, what
The
you can
stack
derive from
size
stack size?
represents the number of big blinds they have, and that influences strategy based on if your stack size is small, you're going to play more conservatively because
You're more likely to shove, right?
yeah, because you might. Okay,
Yeah.
so why do you say shove? Shove. What
Shove
is?
means put all your chips in the pot.
Oh,
Go
okay.
all in. You're right, slang. See, I use slang. This is there's so much poker slang, and I
So are you saying that
forget.
if you have a small stack size, you actually play more aggressive because you just
No, you
lose?
well, you're not supposed
If you
to,
lose all of
but
your
people
chips, you're out of the game. Game over.
well, not in a cash game, you can always buy back, but like in a
Oh.
tournament you're out. But like so
Mhm.
in so the thing is when you have a short stack, it's not you're not technically supposed to play more aggressive. You're supposed to play much tighter and you shift your focus from speculative hands, meaning like straight draws, like so less rundowns and more high cards and pairs, right? That's what you want. So this is a good hand and I'm gonna bet it. Oh, I didn't mean to, that just popped up. Sorry everyone. And that did not come the way we wanted it to. So what we are going to bet it, and the reason is that's a king, and there's a strategy with like if you are the pre-flop aggressor out of position and a king high board comes up, you're supposed to bet it. You're supposed to see bet it. I haven't really understood. I just know that's a thing. I don't know exactly why you're supposed to do that, but like it's pretty much the unanimous consensus among the pros is that's just what you're supposed to do. We're getting rid of those terrible queens. Oh, excuse me. No. And so what were we talking about? Stack size? Oh yeah, short stacks.
Yes.
So when you've got a small stack, according to the correct way to play is you are supposed to play much tighter. That doesn't mean that's what people do. Um, but the reason they're more likely to shove, meaning put all their chips in the pot, is because they only have so many. So like they're like they look at it like, oh, I'm gonna blind out, so like I might as well get my chips in now. This might be the last good hand I see. So as soon as I see a good hand, I'm just gonna shove my chips in. Whereas like if you got a big stack, you're less likely to do that because you can lose a lot more. I am gonna raise this. And we get a call. Fast call. And we're in position, so we're gonna see bet it, and we're gonna see bet it small. Well, that would be about 12 big blinds there. That's a fold. That's why we do that. Oh, big surprise. Big surprise there. Never would have thought. Thanks for showing me. Face up. Wow, I'm so surprised that they had the jack. Wow, I can't believe it. Rayna, would you have ever guessed that they had that heart, that they had that card?
No.
I know, me neither. I was so surprised. Our double suited ace will bets, even though the 2 and the 7 suck. We did hit a 7 though, so hot dog. We'll check that. We don't have much equity going on here. Definitely not to that. Yeah, we'll let you have that with your pot size, with your large bet and your tightness. Your large bet and your face up play, you win.
Fold, right? Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In early position? Yeah, get out of here. Under the gun? Cold. Hold your garbage. So I marked 6 as tight. Maybe they just had a couple bad hands. Well, no, they're playing a little tight. Okay, I think it's fair. They're not like super loose. Yeah, so if we see any of these players raise, we pretty much can assume they have pretty strong holding. But also, here's the thing: is we can also assume is they could also think their hand is stronger than it is. That's going to happen a lot too with these players. Why do I call this? Yeah, I'm going to call. It's one big blind. And we now do have a straight draw, so we can't go anywhere. We might even check raise this. If they bet small, we're going to check raise. That's small enough. We're going to check raise. Oh no, no, we're not. Not if they do. We've seen them do that twice now, but they flashed their nuts, so they've got probably a set. That'd be my guess. They have a set or 2 pair. 2 pair. And they show it. They like to show their hand, which is great for us. We love to see them. We love to see it. This hand looks like it's kind of good, but it sucks, and it's in the small blind. Yeah, I feel like I can push this player. It's a rundown. It's good enough to push this player around with. We don't have much at all here. It's pretty much just missed our range entirely, so it's all right. We tried.
That's another bad hand, but
That's
it's
a
on the
real
big.
bad hand. Even on the button, that's a bad hand. Yeah, I'm not going to call that for sure. Definitely not. Check there, check, check. No one likes that king. Everyone's afraid of that king. They like the king. Tight player says, I like the king. Person says, I like my chances. I can send you betting. No, they didn't. Even if they had a 9, they should have still been betting. What are they doing? I just don't understand what these players are doing at all. There we go. That's
There
a
we
real
go.
good hand. Yeah, it's a very nice hand. We'll bring that in. We'll bring in that nice hand, see what we do. There we go. Got a fold there. Got a fold there. We're just going to fold around and we'll take it down and we'll happily take it down. We haven't seen a lot of pre-flop fold equity, have we?
No.
It's a rundown, but they're low cards and we blocked our own suits. So
Right.
I think I probably would have played this on the button, but I don't think anywhere else. I'd have played it on the big blind. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, we would have had no equity. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, seat 6. I don't think they'll be back. I think they're gonna bounce. Yet. Got a new player on 4. We don't know what they're about, so we will proceed with caution. Yeah, we'll fold that out of turn. Don't want anything to do with this hand. What you gonna do? Because I'm a bet. You're gonna call. No. And fold. Awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Cool. Nope. Wait for something better. Wait for something better to come along. What are you gonna do? Seat 4? And fold.
Oh,
All right.
all right.
They're a thinking player so far as I can tell. Nope. Yeah, that's definitely playable on the big blind. So we will call.
You know, 6 is a lower number.
Yeah, look at all those chips. That's worth a call. We have, see, now this is a great bluffing hand because we totally block that straight. So I'm check driving. I'm check raising. Especially to someone tight. I'm definitely check raising. I'm gonna pot it. I think they have high cards. I think they have over cards. And I think they called twice. Can I triple barrel them? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lose everything. Oh, is that risky, Rayna?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
you always make these moves right at the end.
Well, it was the right move.
Yeah.
It was it was a risk. You got to risk it for the limp biscuit. You got to limp risk it for the limp biscuit. That joke would have been better if I'd have thought about it first. I knew they were afraid. I knew they were afraid, and I was right. That's wonderful. We probably should stop after that. I think we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and set out the next big blind.
Makes sense.
It's getting towards the end. We had a good run here.
Yes, it was good.
We're over 200 big blinds. We feel all right about that. This isn't as good a hand as it looks like, so we'll let that go. We'll play 2 more hands here, and then we'll hit the road. We'll do a little post game, you and me. We'll talk about it. Triple barreling out of position. They had aces. That's what they had, by the way. I'm sure of it. I don't think I can check. Yeah. I'll know after the session. I'll be able to check. No, that 6 sucks. That 6 blows. So now it looks great. All of a sudden, that 6 is beautiful. They raised. Woof. So that wasn't just a raw ass, bold ass move. That was it was calculated, by the way. And part of it was because I know they're tight.
Right.
But having the triple barrel work is scary. It's scary. It's scary to risk your whole stack when you not have nothing. And that is gonna do it. So let's go ahead and close out of there. Bring this over here and we'll switch to the thing. Ready to come on back. Oh, hello everybody. Rayna, how are you doing?
I am doing just fabulous.
So did you think that last big play there was, do you think that was a bad move, like an overly risky move, or do you think that was the right move?
I I think it was the right move, but can you kind of break it down for me a little bit?
So I think it was the right move too, and I will break it down. In fact, let me see what I can do, because now that we're out of the table, I can actually check my hand here and I can bring that in. Give me a second. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I want to see what they had. So hand history, we can just do today transactions. Thank you for being patient, everyone. I know that's not super fun. So this last hand wasn't the last one. What was it? I ooh, I know this isn't fun and cool for any. This isn't making great TV either. But anyway, I'm not going to do it. I remember it well enough to talk about it. So basically, what happened was the reason I think I know we had a reasonable hand. We had, I think, suited ace, and we had our pair of sixes that weren't great. The reason that I wanted to do that is so that other player that was tight, they did bring in, and then we called, so we didn't raise them, so their range was all of the best cards. Like, they could have easily have aces, and I think they did have aces. No, but the problem was, so the reason I thought it would be a good place to bluff is because they were tight. They've shown that they were only betting when they had cards, and they weren't calling, they weren't betting their draws, they were just over tight, they were mousy. And so when that flop came, that was like a wet straight board with no, that was a rainbow board, so there were no suits. Like, I knew that not only was that flop bad for their range and good for my range, but it was like, I think it was like 4, 5, 7 or something like that. And I had the sixes. So the sixes blocked the straight. And so I had both sixes. So I knew that it was very unlikely that they had, almost impossible, not impossible, but extremely
Right.
unlikely that they would have a straight. And so my thinking was exactly what it was, which was like, well, if they bet, which they did, because I think they had aces, but they only bet a half pot. I think they didn't even bet full pot. And I was like, if they bet small, if they don't bet big, I'm going to barrel this. And the reason I thought that is because they did bet half pot, because they saw that straight, and they did have aces. I think they have aces. I have no way of knowing. I actually can, I was, that's what I was looking up to see if I was right about them having aces. I think they did. And so by me check raising that with a pot size bet, that's telling them that like I have this straight.
Right.
And I know they didn't have a real good straight draw because I blocked the sixes. So we're like, okay, but they still had aces and they were like, oh, I can't get rid of aces. So they called. And then when the next card came, when the turn came, it gave me my suit. So it suited the board and it was a spade and it was a high spade, like a king. So that could have maybe they had three kings then, but they still
Right.
didn't have a straight. And I also had the nut flush draw. So like not only did my blockers work, but also I had the nut flush draw. So that's something you just keep going with. Like so the kind of the thought about like bluffing is if you start bluffing on the flop, if your hand improves, you can continue bluffing. And if your hand gets worse, you stop bluffing.
Okay.
Like, and so you have to like consider what your opponent's range is, what your range should be. Now, this is for the pros. That player probably wasn't thinking about my range. They were probably just afraid of the straight. Um, and so I knew that they were probably afraid of the straight. I knew they probably had high cards, a high pair, likely aces, but they could have easily had kings in their hand, which is why they called my pot size bet on the turn. But then to bring it home on the river when I shoved my whole stack in, they were like, yeah, they were still afraid of the straight. And even if they did have three kings, like they were like, yeah, yeah, I believe it. And so I sold it. Like I had a good story. That's why it's a good bluff, is because it made sense. I had the blockers, I had the equity, and my story made sense. And that's a huge thing that's important, is your story has to make sense. Like if you start betting big and start bluffing on a board that doesn't make any sense, people, even if they're not thinking about ranges, they pick up on that. But it did make sense all the way from beginning to end. And they hadn't seen me start bluffing on a board that doesn't make any sense. People, even if they're not thinking about ranges, they pick up on that. But it did make sense all the way from beginning to end. And they hadn't seen me do that. I had and a pair of sixes. So they definitely had a better hand than me. But they didn't know that. And that's kind of what you have to think about like that. And so that's what that was all about. I think that was a really good bluff. It played out in the sense that it turned out to be a very good bluff. I'm still dying to know what hand they had. I kind of have to look that up. I'm just killing me. I think they had aces or kings, and I think if they laid down a set of kings, then that's phenomenal. Then that's a real strong move on my part and a very nitty move on theirs. But it wasn't super nitty. It was like I was representing that straight totally from the outset.
Mhm.
And so is it this one? No, it's not this one. I think this is it. Me. No. Oh, they folded so I can't see. It doesn't. No, it wasn't this one. I, anyway, blah blah blah. I can't find it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to go sift through hands while we're on air. But like, in any case, it did work off. It did work out. It did pay off. To me, those are the kind of moves you have to make. And like one of the things that like the pros will say, and this is like why you have to have a good bankroll that can cover the stakes that you're playing, is because like you have to do stuff like that. That's how you win at poker. That's how you, because if I'd have just let that go, like I would have lost a bunch of money instead of winning, like basically like about 80 big blinds there. I would have lost like 30. 30 or 40. So like it's that was a difference of 120 big blinds that I won just there by being courageous and strategic. And I think it was strategic. I think it was a good bet, even though like the circumstances were ideal for that. Like we had a tight player, I had blockers, my hand improved, bam. That's what it was. And so like and I had the right amount of chips too. Like if I had less chips than it was a pot size bet, like if I had only had like 50 at the end and the pot was 180, they would have called, no question, because like why wouldn't? Because they're getting the right price and they have to see it. So like I had the right what's called stack to pot ratio, that's SPR. So I had the right stack size to do that. And I was thinking about all that stuff. And so like it is one of those things where it's like I'm not a pro, but I feel like I'm right on the verge of being a pro. Like I'm at least a good thinking player. I'm not a pro because I don't have the win rate to justify calling myself a pro, but like I think I'm a good thinking player, and I think that was a good move in the end, and I think and it worked out. So like that's how it is.
Yeah, I think it you articulated all these reasons really well. It wasn't just I pulled the handle and see what happens on the flop. It's
Yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't just a random thing. It was a well thought out
calculated move.
bluff. Yeah.
And
And
I
with
think
that,
you're
oh,
really close to becoming that, like this is you're right at the break even. So you're at I think you're
I've
at your
been break
breakout.
even for about a year and I'm sick of it. I want to just get to I can't just break that barrier. I feel like I'm close, but I felt like I've been close this whole while. So it's like I'm just real break even. I'm real break even. And what happens is like I'll fuck off and I'll just play poker to play poker and I won't pay totally attention. I'll just if I sit down and focus, I play well. But like if I'm fucking off and I'm looking at Facebook or I'm watching a YouTube video or like I'm thinking about
Okay.
something else, it's late at night and I'm tired, like I'll make bad decisions and I'll play looser than I should. But like it's not marking players, doing all that stuff, not paying attention to the betting, not paying attention to the pace. Like all that stuff is things that you have to do. The edges are so small in poker, even on the lower stakes with the players that don't play especially well. And I don't want to like disparage them. Like it's like they like there was that one guy that was like I say guy, but like I don't know, there's that one person that was like very fishy. Like they were just basically donating their stack. But like, I mean, that's not a normal thing. Like the thing is like I seem pretty arrogant a lot of the times, and I am. I'm a cocky person, but like the reality of it is like is everyone that's in that at that table is trying to win and they all know what good hands are. So it's like I have to remember that. It's like I can't get too cocky like, I'm gonna beat everyone I go up against because you're just not. Like,
It's
it's like they're
statistically
also trying to
improbable.
win. Yeah. With that, see Lexus got here, Walk Faster made it, and everyone came right at the end. Thanks so much for showing up right
Thank
at
you for
the
showing
end,
up. We really
everybody.
appreciate it.
What's that?
Oh, I said at least some. Thank you for showing up. Better late than never.
Yeah, it was if you got here, oh, they're hugging you, Rayna.
Thanks.
If you got here for that last hand that I played, it was a real good closer. It was a good showstopper, I think. And so like it was a real I successfully pulled off a triple barrel bluff out of position. Uh from a player that we suspect had either aces or a set of kings. And so it was I think they definitely folded a better hand than we had. So that's a successful bluff, and there it is. Uh-oh. Walk Faster was fighting off carpenter bees.
That's
I don't even
horrifying.
know what carpenter bees are, but that
I
sounds
don't like
scary.
bees. I've never been
You
stung
don't
by
like
bees, so I
bees?
don't.
You've never
Yeah,
been stung
well,
by a bee?
no, I don't want to
It
find out that I'm
hurts.
like
It
I'm
hurts a
taking
lot.
pleasure.
The bee venom is very potent.
I don't want that.
You swell right up and it's very painful. Yeah, it's pretty not fun. A lot of people are allergic to it
Yeah,
and
I know.
get
I don't
killed
know.
by it.
I don't
But
know.
like
I've
yeah,
never
you
been
don't know.
stung, so that would be a
Yeah.
terrible surprise.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of bees. You have to know your bees and you have to know which bees you can't fuck with. Like like wasps can be like certain kind of bees are aggressive and mean and certain other bees are super docile and passive and so you just have to know which one you're dealing with. Like your standard yellow jacket's not going to bother you.
Yeah.
But like if they're big and they're big in their thing. And then there's hornets and hornets. I haven't seen any hornets out here. Hornets were a thing back in
I
Milwaukee.
think
Like I
I've seen
remember
him once,
I haven't seen hornets here. No,
a
hornets are
long time ago.
fuckers. Hornets will fuck you up. Hornets will come after you just if they
Maybe they
see
were wrong.
you. Like yeah, but I haven't seen hornets here at all. I've seen daubers and I've seen wasps, but I didn't even see a lot of wasps. It's mostly just like your yellow jackets and your bumblebees. And the bumblebees are completely harmless and they're the cutest little things. And then like yeah, and then like your standard yellow jackets, they'll 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 sting you, but only if you agitate them. Like they can get scary because they'll fly
Hmm.
around you because if you're wearing a color they'll land on you and they'll check out what you to see if you have nectar, like but if you kind of just leave them be and respect their space, they'll fuck off and they'll figure out you're not a flower soon enough and they'll fuck off. Like, and so you can pretty much, but like if you've got like flowers on your shirt, like that's the thing. It's like, well, they see that and they kind of like, oh, look at that. Like, but they'll leave you alone. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend getting stung by a bee. I think the last time I got stung by a bee was I was 19. It's forever ago.
Oh, this has
Yeah.
been a very good segment on bee safety.
On bee safety,
Be
but
safe
also
around
save the
bees.
bees, like because we need the bees. So
Well, I
it's like
know there's that
I
too. I'm
can't be
not
afraid
saying
of the
I
bees. I
didn't
gotta
say
like
kill all the bees. I didn't say
right.
that. I just don't
You're
want
like I
them to
just don't
kill
want to get
me.
stung. Right. I understand that. I just see a
I
bee
want
and I was like, oh
mutual
my god, a
coexistence.
bee!
I said
Here,
peaceful
you want to
coexistence.
borrow my car? What can I do for you? How can I help? All right, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. We don't have any more shows today. We've got. We'll be back with Border Trans in May. Emily just made it to Tasmania with the beautiful, wonderful, lovely Charlotte, and they're together
Yay.
at last. The wedding's when's the wedding, Charlotte? Let me know in the chat. Um, wedding's coming up. They're gonna get married. They're finally together. Oh, Emily's gone. She made it out of the U.S. I need to make it out of the U.S. So remember, if any of you wants to marry me, get me out of the country. Let me know. I will marry you. I will get married. All right. So everyone, we'll see you next week. I don't know what thing. I think we might have a culinary delights for being trans. We'll play more poker. Mediocre poker. Same as it ever was. It's gonna be more of this. And we'll see all that good stuff. And yeah, stay safe out there. Get your paperwork together.
Yeah.
Have a bug out bag packed and be ready to pull the ejector seat on the United States if you're not already doing it. All right. With that, I love you. Au revoir.
Hi.